Master. Cut it. Hello everybody, this is the Master 33, and today I just wanted to, talk about the difference between buying a leopard gecko or if you're, interested in buying a African fat tail. So a lot of people say, hey man, they're about the same, but they're really not. I just think that the fact that they both have chubby tails, depending on if you feed them a lot, they both have chubby tails. But this is not a fat tail. This is a leopard gecko. This is actually a an albino version of a regular leopard gecko. And this one on my right is also an albino version of a regular African fat tail. But since they both have tails that are chunky and both healthy specimens here, a lot of people automatically think that they're both the same, and they're not. They're not. They come from two different parts of the world. You will find a leopard gecko more in the Middle Eastern area, which is also called Africa. It is called Africa, but the leopard gecko could come anywhere from like the true Middle East, Saudi Arabia, Iraq, Iran, Syria, all those places that we tend to have a lot of beef at. So, and this is a true African fat tail. And this little guy right here, the difference is their demeanor. As babies, I've always found that the African fat tail is really sweet, and they're sweet their whole lives. Now they have a ferocious appetite for crickets. I mean, these guys, they don't mess around. They love their crickets. Make sure you dust them with calcium, but they love their crickets. These African fat tails. See a little thing right there because the male's been mating with her lately. But you house them differently. Where the African fat tail you would use for the substrate eco earth to keep the humidity levels a little higher. They're like a semi-tropical type of a gecko, so you don't really want to do a desert type of an enclosure with an African fat tail. It's just that people hear the word Africa and they automatically think it's a like a desert species, and it's not. And then leopard gecko are also pretty much in the same boat, but they can handle 5 degrees warmer. So normally people always house these guys at the warm spot at 90 degrees, where with your African fat tail you would do at 85 degrees. Both you can use under the tank heat pads. They don't need no lights at all. Okay, they're nocturnal and lights bother them. A lot of people use it, and I see that in their videos. I never make comments. I always am a positive person. I figure, when I first started, a couple years ago, I used the light, and I'm like, what am I doing? This is a nocturnal species. And I didn't understand why certain animals of mine didn't cooperate. As soon as I got rid of the lights and I went with the heat pads and found out what the temperatures are supposed to be, my animals were thriving. They were eating, they were healthier, they had a better appetite, they bred better, they mated better, they just overall were a better animal. So that to me is the difference. These guys are slightly little sweeter, but they also seem a little more, you have to be a little more gentle with these guys, the African fat tails. And they have a lot of morphs of the African fat tail that tend to be a little more expensive. You can Google that, the different types of morphs, the African fat tail, which I eventually will get into. And then with these guys, they're always making new stuff up every year. Someone around the world has a new project, and they keep coming out with crazier and crazier stuff. But the African fat tail is going to be also its rival. Again, they're both easy. So these guys just tend to like everything, but you can grow them up only on mealworms. But these guys just like my guys, I got them on phoenix worms, I got them on small roaches, I got them on just in general different things, crickets a lot, but but these guys just eat an overall whole insect diet, you know, with my leopard gecko. These guys love to hunt. They still have the hunt instincts, but it's just the differences where some leopard geckos just give up hunting altogether. The crickets, once they get older, they get lazier. Where your African fat-tailed forever would always hunt their crickets. But it's to each their own. You know, if you want a smaller, sweeter, more gentle type of an animal, you can go with the African fat-tail. They both make superb, excellent pets for beginner pets for kids. But I'd rather, if you wanted a kid, if you have a kid that is gentle and he's real soft and sweet, and you want to go with the African fat-tail. If you have a kid that's a little tougher, like my nephews and nieces, I would recommend for them when they're younger the leopard gecko. They just tend to be a better animal. Some people might differ, and it's just my overall experience with these animals. The leopard gecko is slightly tougher. It is tougher. It's more durable, I guess, and that's why I believe this animal is better for overall children, and for older kids, still kids, but older, they can do the African fat-tail. Again, if your child is just one of those brilliant, super sweet, and understand, then I can go with the whole African fat-tail. But I'm just letting you know. So like that, if you ever see these at an expo or Craigslist, or you want to go to a reputable breeder, you can actually break it down and make a better choice of animal you want to get for your child. And also, there's different setups, different enclosures that you can hook them up. You can make some real cool, South African kingdom cool stuff with this one. Just remember to use the Eco Earth as substrate, and with this one, you can do that liner. I don't use sand. When I first started, I was using sand, and whoo, I got real close, man. I almost lost one of my animals, and then I never used sand again. And I said, and they just live better. They're all doing really well. Look at the difference too. This is a super giant. This is Mr. Universe, and this is a Ziza. And he's a super giant. He's coming in at 142 grams right now. With this little girl is like maybe 40. Last time I weighed her, she was like 37. It's a big difference. Like his tail, if you look, his tail is as big as her. It's crazy, right? But what do you think, guys? Give me a thumbs up if you like these animals. This is the Mass 33, and I'm out of here.